when it comes to the left, they make us believe that Trump supporters are like at a low count, right? The thing is though is that when people don't understand is that nowadays becoming a Trump supporter has become a little bit of a taboo. You can't openly voice your support for Trump, otherwise you'll be called a racist. So what do? They just keep their opinions to themselves, and then when it comes to the voting booth, who do you think they're going to vote for? Trump, because no one's watching them put their vote. No one's going to criticize them who they vote for. That is why when you see Trump's rallies, if you've seen his rallies, they're packed. I'm talking about super packed, right? They're incredibly packed. And then I look at it, I'm thinking, well, I thought the media told me that Trump supporters are a minority when it comes to voting. And yet when I see a lot of people, Hispanics, women, men, people of color, cheering on the president, it makes me wonder, is the media making stuff up? Which obviously they are, but you get the point, right? They try to cover up this whole idea of Trump supporters, and yet then they say, well, they don't exist, or they're just a smaller. They're just smaller. They're a smaller number, right? I'll give you a good example of what it means to underestimate the enemy, right? In the sense that when it comes to the left sees conservatives as the enemy. Okay, a little history lesson. The Tet Offensive. It was an event. It was a military campaign during the Vietnam War in which communist Viet Cong, guerrillas, and they basically launched a huge offensive campaign during the holiday of Tet in Vietnam. Now, what happened was that it essentially led to a lot of casualties on both sides, but it demonstrated that the Viet Cong. There's a video playing. Sorry, but it demonstrated that the Viet Cong were being underestimated by a lot. Okay, so what happened was that a lot of people in the United States started to lose faith and whether or not they could actually win the war in Vietnam. So that's why we started pushing from a protest saying we need to bring our troops back. There's no point in being there, and that's what the U.S. intelligence agencies did. What they did was underestimate the power of the Viet Cong, and when the Tet Offensive came by, next thing you know, the entire U.S. military was taken by surprise. They got literally shocked, by taken by surprise about the capabilities of the Viet Cong. 2016 was a good example of that as well. People were saying, "Well, Trump can't win. Trump can't win." I was one of those people. I was saying, "Well, Trump can't possibly win. The guy is just making this a show, right? I don't think he'll even take being president seriously." When he won, I'm thinking, well, goddamn, this guy won. Obviously, he's lost the popular vote, but the electoral vote is what matters, okay? If you look at the map of states that Trump won, the majority of the country was red, okay? Sure, the population was less, the popular vote was less, but the whole point of the presidency is to win over the entire country, or as most of the country as possible. California has a population of 44 million. I could be wrong, but they're like around the 40 millions kind of population, I think, around there. So you're telling me that a population that has over 40 million people has as much say, should have more say in who becomes president than the entire state of Kentucky? Is that what you're telling me? Because California just the state of California alone, if we go on the popular vote, if everyone in California voted, and assuming that every single person in California was of voting age, they have the capability of literally outvoting multiple states. One state can outvote multiple states. That's why I'm not a huge fan of the whole popular vote thing. The entire point of the Electoral College is to win over states, not the people, but states. Again, look at the 2016 election map in which states Trump won. You'll see the majority are more red than blue. So you don't understand why he won the election. Sure, he lost the popular vote, but the whole point is that you need to win over states, not people, not individual cities like LA or Chicago, but the states in general. So I think that the young people, will play a huge role in this because nowadays people think that Trump supporters are in the minimum. They're not as huge as they think they are, right? They don't have the numbers that they think they have, but they do. Being a Trump supporter nowadays has become a matter of being silent. Don't say anything about Trump. Assume that the enemy is saying, well, see, no one's talking about Trump. No one's supporting Trump. And yet, when it comes to voting, people are going to vote Trump. They're not going to say, well, I'm going to vote for Bernie Sanders. No, they're going to say, screw this, I'm going to vote Trump. I support Trump. I don't vote my support because people are going to scrutinize me, so I'm going to vote for Trump. Simple as that. So let's read the articles from Newsweek. And again, I was surprised because Newsweek is a huge left-leaning organization. So let's read. Young Trump voters like these are the key to a 2020 victory. Stormy Rodriguez says she's never been called a racial epithet before. Growing up in Mission, Texas, just 70 miles from the Mexican border, the 21-year-old daughter of a single Mexican-American mother had what she calls a normal, pretty, uneventful life in a heavily Hispanic part of the country. I'm with you on this one. I have never seen any racism on my part. I have never experienced racism in any way, shape, or form. And I live in Santa Ana. I live in a community, right? Obviously, it's California. Obviously, it's very liberal. But I've never experienced racism in my life. So we're the same on that category. Otherwise, other than that, she lives in Texas. I live in California. So that's the only difference. But I grew up without any experience in any racism. That changed one day in 2016 when she posted a picture of herself on Facebook wearing a red "Make America Great Again" cap. The student at Texas State University said she was promptly bombarded with abuse from the Donald Trump hating left and called a variety of epithets, including W back. I'm pretty sure you guys would. I'm sorry. I just don't like that term. It really does. I really don't like it. But again, I'm not gonna say it. I almost said it. That's why I kind of had a chuckle because I almost said it, and YouTube doesn't want me to say those things again. Otherwise, they're gonna derank me. So I kind of stopped myself for a bit. But let's say W back. I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna get what that means. Okay, W back. Okay, that's a racial slur. And it's coming from the left. It's not from the right, white supremacist, quote unquote, right? It's from the left. So right, so Stormy Rodriguez being called a W back because she supports Trump. Really? That's very tolerant of you, left. Hooray! For most tolerant award goes to the left, right? That's ridiculous. At college, some of my classes called me a race traitor. She says, I'm not surprised. The left is racist. They're racist. They believe that because you're Hispanic, you're supposed to vote Democrat all the way. Because you're black, you're supposed to vote Democrat all the way. If you're gay, you're supposed to vote Democrat all the way, right? That's ridiculous. They call you a race traitor, they'll call you a sexual orientation traitor, or whatever they want to call you. But it's not coming from the white supremacist right that the media tells us about. It's coming from the left. So I understand her on this. I've literally faced scrutiny before because I've wear hats like these. Proud to be an American, there's nothing saying about MAGA or Make America Great Again. But I've been scrutinized before because of this. Even some of my relatives just think, well, is Carlos a Trump supporter? And I'm thinking to myself, why would you think that? And I literally overheard them, like, why would you think that? Well, because because of your hats. Well, me being proud of my country doesn't make me a Trump supporter. But if you're trying to make me a Trump supporter, then it's working, man. Because I do not want to vote for people that think like you do. Okay. But anyways, let's keep going. Publicly supporting Donald Trump isn't easy for young voters, especially in the wake of mass shootings in El Paso, Texas, and Dayton, Ohio. Even though the shooter in Dayton, Ohio was a huge leftist and actually voiced support for Antifa, okay? Pop culture derides Trump daily. So too does much of the mass media. Pro-Trump college students like Rodriguez say their teachers are almost uniformly hostile to Trump. I get you on that one too. I've had professors who are not even teaching anything in politics and they have to bring up Trump every 2 seconds. I'm with you on this one, okay? I get where you're coming from. And so are the majority of the fellow students. It makes a fair amount of backbone to be young and a Trump supporter, even in GOP strongholds like Texas. But the more than a dozen young Trump supporters who spoke to Newsweek were firm in their commitment to the president and clear about their reasons. They don't consider Trump racist and reject the label for themselves as well. They're sick of cancel culture. I'm sick of cancel culture. Dave Chappelle tried to cancel Dave Chappelle, and I said, screw you guys. I like Dave Chappelle, right? Vice, I think like a week ago, I think or like a week and a half ago, they tried to really push an article in the sense that we need to cancel South Park. I was like, are you serious, Vice? Really? So again, I'm sick of cancel culture, so I'll agree with you on that. When critics on social media call for a boycott of someone who has said or done something deemed offensive and political correctness. Yes, I hate PC culture too, okay? I'm not a Latinx, okay? I'm not a member of the Latinx community. I'm part of the Latino community. And in Spanish, I'm part of the Comunidad Latina, okay? So it's not sexist or anything like that. In Spanish, Comunidad Latina. In English, it's Latino community, okay? I hate the whole freaking political correctness stuff. But anyways, let's keep going. We've had it shoved in our faces all day, every day. In school and then from the pop culture. Isabel Brown, a graduate from Colorado State University, told Newsweek in July, they don't share the attraction to socialism that seems to be felt by many in their cohort, and Trump's unfiltered personality delights them. I hate socialism too, and that's the history. You want socialism? Go live in Venezuela. Do you want to get a paycheck of $1,000 a year for doing nothing and sitting on your behind all day? Go to Venezuela. You want free money? Go to Venezuela. It's not going to be worth much. And if you want a 5-star buffet or a 5-star restaurant meal, go. Then I recommend you go to like the city trash cans, because those, from what I hear, as of right now, the trash can food is the light right now. From what I hear, okay. They see themselves in the role traditionally played politically by the young. They are the rebels. They are the nonconformists, willing to stand up for what they believe in opposition to the establishment. Only this time, the establishment on campus and in the broader society is a culture that demands lockstep obedience to what Brown calls the far-left ideas. For whatever reason, she says, most people her age aren't rebellious and aren't even particularly thoughtful. They feel the need to adhere to a politically correct progressive agenda. In this environment, she argues, true rebellion is simply to say, I disagree. I think conservatives were expected to be quite polite, and we expected people who would be quietly polite in return. Now we learn that unless you boldly fight for what you believe in, the culture and the country will look very different. Yes. Nowadays, the thing is that what Republicans don't understand, and again, it's not to criticize conservatives. You conservatives are watching this. It's not a way to criticize you. But what always infuriates me is that the left is using violence. They're using physical intimidation. I'm not saying that the Republicans should do this, but the Republicans are too polite. They're too polite. Instead of, all they do is just talk and be civil. We can't be civil with the left. You see what Antifa does. You see what the left does. They try to attack us, insult us, call us racial slurs for not thinking like them. The Republicans need to step up and say, you know what? If you're going to use violence, we're going to defend ourselves. We don't care what you guys think. For example, I'll tell you now, if Antifa ever shows up to Texas and tries to do the same thing they do, like in, say, in Portland, I wish them good luck on that. I really do. Because Texans are not going to be happy when they're getting attacked by a bunch of thugs wearing a bunch of black clothing and covering their faces. I'm pretty sure they're not going to be happy about that. Okay, but let's keep going. So this is the cover. It's actually a very good cover. I like the hat though. I like the hat. I have one, but it's not as big as this one. I know, but anyway, again, I'm actually surprised that Newsweek is actually covering this. Young Trumpers. Is that what they call them? Young Trumpers. Young Trumpers are not merely politically are not a mere political curiosity. Voters aged 18 to 29 are one of the two demographics nationwide that may hold the key to Trump's reelection. And yes, a lot of young voters nowadays are starting to become more politically active in voting. According to Brad Parscale, Trump's 2020 campaign manager, moderate independent Republican women make up the other group. The goal is not to win the young voter demographic outright. The campaign knows that won't happen, but rather to limit the margin with the Democratic nominee in key states, and in doing so, perhaps tip the election to Trump. That's close to what happened in 2016, though not because of any sophisticated effort by the Trump campaign. Hillary Clinton got only 55% of the youth vote, down from the 60% Barack Obama won in 2012. Yes. I feel like if Hillary had actually done a little bit more to appeal to younger generations of voters, like me, for example, maybe she would have actually gotten a lot more votes when it comes to the general election. I think so, because again, Bernie appealed to me in 2016. In 2019, I say screw you, Bernie. I don't like you, Bernie. You've gone too extreme. Apparently, from what I hear, again, I could be wrong. Bernie wants to ban all deportations. Are you serious? Again, I could be wrong. But I saw a video from Tim Pool saying that Bernie wants to ban all deportations. Again, I think that's really insane and stupid. Even if I were to tell my mom that Bernie Sanders wants to ban all deportations, my mom would be like, "Well, that dude's crazy." And I'm pretty sure she would. All right. So let's keep going. Many young people did not. But to put it mildly, view Clinton as an inspiring candidate. In 2018, Obama won an extraordinarily 66% of the under 30 vote. There you go. Obama, obviously the young vote decreased from Obama when it came to his first term and second term. But even then, even during his re-election campaign, the guy got more of the younger vote than Hillary. And what is likely to be another close election if Trump can do better with young people than he did last time? That could be critical, says Mary Snow, polling analyst at the Quinnipiac University Presidential Polling Organization. There are plausible scenarios in which it could be decisive. The Trump campaign won 37% of the youth vote in 2016 in a campaign that was shambolic and underfunded. It will not be this time. Trump 2020 has already raised more than $125 million, really, and the campaign is making a concentrated effort to target young voters in battleground states. Parscale, who headed Trump's digital media effort in 2016, says this will happen via social media, its forte, but also with traditional boots-on-the-ground type of organizing. I think that if Trump wants to actually win, though, I think they should focus more on social media, because young people are more connected to social media. They're more involved in Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and all that stuff. I think, again, boots on the ground, it's a little bit much, so it's a little effective too. But I think the young generation is going to be more, if you want to capitalize on their support, you might want to focus on social media. Okay? In both the virtual and real-world efforts, the campaign will have considerable help from outside groups, support it didn't have in 2016. One of them is Turning Point USA, founded 7 years ago by Charlie Kirk, then 18. Turning Point USA has a 501c4 tax-exempt social welfare organization sister group, Turning Point Action, which also runs students for Trump. The group organizes what Kirk calls conservatives on college campuses across the country, but conservative in the sense that means but conservative in the sense means Trump supporters. The group has more than 1,000 college chapters and claims more than 40,000 members. Kirk will lead them next year in an effort that he acknowledges based on the 2012 Obama for America campaign targeting young voters. The Turning Point effort will be as much about clipboards and tennis shoes on campus as it is about social media. And what Kirk vows will be an unprecedented effort to muster the pro-Trump vote on campuses across the country. There's never been a pro-GOP effort at this scale before targeting young voters. He says this can be done. We will make a difference. Conservatives organizing on college campuses is not, of course, a novel concept. Young Americans for Freedom, a group founded by William F. Buckley in 1960, has had chapters on U.S. campuses for decades. The Young Americans Foundation was founded on and has continued to preach the standard conservative catechism: support for free markets and free trade, limited government, and a robust American engagement abroad, originally rooted in staunch anti-communism. The Young Americans Foundation sees itself as the promoter of true conservatism and the Buckley and Ronald Reagan mold, which is why some of its alumni have trouble swallowing the Trump campaign in 2016. Donald Trump will never be a true blue conservative, which is why there will always be a silver of never Trumpers within the GOP. But a lot of young voters don't care about policy purity. The Young Americans Foundation membership rolls have increased by 5% since 2016. As Kirk acknowledges, there aren't one or two defining issues among young Trump backers, and the way that free market economics are staring down the Soviet Union-motivated Reagan supporters more than a generation ago. The appeal of Trump is, as much as anything, attitudinal. Again, this article is a little bit longer. I do not wish to prolong it by any means, because it's really long. I don't want to prolong the video anymore. But young voters in general, they play a huge role in the elections. Nowadays, they're more politically active. Social media now is being used to say, go out and vote, go out and vote. And a lot of young people are becoming more involved. My sister, for example, she's going to vote, I think, for the first time in 2020, I think. So she's going to go out and vote. She seems like, I'm going to go out and vote. I can vote. I'm going to go out to vote. And I think if Trump is able to do this and actually capitalize on the young votes and actually increase the support, I think he has a good chance of winning. Because a lot of what the left does, a lot of what the media does, is they cover up the Trump supporters. They put like a huge screen over them and say, "See, I don't see any Trump supporters, so how can Trump win?" And then when it comes to the voting vote, they say Trump. No one's there to judge them. No one's there to criticize them. And then when Trump wins, they're gonna say, "How did Trump win? I didn't see any Trump supporters." Again, go back to Vietnam. How in the hell did the Viet Cong manage to do this much damage? I didn't see that many Viet Cong guerrillas. Right? And during the Vietnam War. So again, let me know what you guys think. Do you think young voters are going to play a key role in the 2020 election? Do you think Trump is going to get a bigger number of young voters in 2020 compared to what he got in 2016? And do you think that, that the media does a terrible job in the sense that, well, terrible from our perspective, but good job in their perspective in the sense that they cover up the mass support that Trump has and yet they pretend that they don't exist? Okay, let me know what you guys think about this. If you like this video, hit the like button. So if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. That way you never miss an upload. And then, hit the notification button once after you subscribe, and that way you never miss an upload. But the best thing you can do to share the video is share the video. Share the video. If you think this video is worthy of sharing, if you think this video is well made, or you like the video and you want other people to hear what I have to say, sharing the video, I do really much appreciate it, because YouTube has decided to do rank independent political commentary, but only you can bypass YouTube's restrictions and when it comes to people seeing my content. So again, if you think this video is worthy of sharing, I appreciate it very much. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, because it lets me know you want other people to hear what I have to say and you want other people to be exposed to my content. So again, have a good rest of the day, guys. This is going to be the last one for today. Unfortunately, I have to get ready for work. So you guys have a good rest of the day and stay awesome.